A lot of you have viewed my LangChain course and loved it. So here I'm going to show you another project that has real-world business application and can quickly advance your Python skills and get you familiar with AI engineering. So this is like a proof of concept AI hedge fund that takes common investors in finance and sort of tries to mimic their investment strategies and creates them as agents. So the program basically calls a stock market API for a certain ticker, gets prices, a bunch of financial data, and it uses any of the provided agents to determine an investment strategy and analyze the financial metrics and develop a investment strategy. Here you can see the agents that are already included. You might recognize some of them like Warren Buffett and Catherine Wood. So let me just show you quickly how this works. And we're going to use the Apple ticker. Now here we can select the analyst we want. I'll do Warren Buffett. And of course you can choose your model. So as you can see, it goes through each agent. First the selected Warren Buffett agent, and then it goes into the risk management agent as shown here. And finally the portfolio management agent. So using the Warren Buffett agent, the signal is bearish with a confidence of 85%. So probably not going to buy this one. Actually, the suggested action is to short. I mean, I'm no financial expert. That's pretty much when you believe the price of the ticker is going to go down. So you're actively betting against it with a pretty high confidence. And then it has a text, generated text of the reasoning of the agent, as it were from Warren Buffett himself. This explains how the agent came to this conclusion. So since we have no current long or short positions in AIPL and ample cash to cover any margin requirements, initiating a short position aligns with the strategy to act on strong bearish signals. So when we initialize this program, we actually start with a certain amount of capital, and that's why we have ample cash to cover any margin requirements. So you can start the code with a custom amount of capital. I think this is really cool and interesting, and also the code is quite easy, I'd say. So it makes for a great project to learn some AI engineering stuff, and it's quite easy to get into. I'm going to go through the code briefly in just a second, but first of all, as you can see, this project is for educational purposes only, and it is of course not intended for real trading or investment. The agents themselves are very basic and probably won't make any real money, but I think this is an excellent skeleton, and I think the workflow in this project, which we'll go through in a second, can be duplicated into making an application that actually solves real business problems. One idea I got when going through the code is creating sort of a real estate investment analyst. So you can have one agent that does a deep dive into the financials of a real estate property, goes through the income and the expenses historically as well, and makes a decision on that with a certain investment strategy in mind. Or another agent can look at comparable properties in the vicinity, so that agent maybe connects to an API to get nearby properties and compares them to see if this is a good investment. And a third agent could maybe analyze the photos of the property, see if there's some renovation that can be done, some upside that can kind of determine a value based on the current state of the property. If there's some renovations to be made, how much would they cost? How much value could you add to the property in that way? And by combining all three of these agents, you could land at a very sophisticated automated real estate investment analyst. Now, having worked as a real estate analyst myself, I know that probably not all aspects of that job can be automated, but this is a huge bulk of what analysts do actually. And in the US, analysts are paid like 6 figures a year. So if you can automate, a good chunk of that, companies will pay you for it. In fact, there are already startups that do this. So they create AI agents to do due diligence for financial investments, real estate investments. This one, for example, is backed by Y Combinator, Alliance, big names here. They're probably generating at least thousands of dollars a month in revenue. So why am I bringing this up? Well, building such a project that solves real business use cases and can save companies thousands of dollars in payroll is such a great way to set yourself apart and secure more high-paying job offers. For example, because I built Condo GPT, which is an LLM-powered real estate investment application, I was able to first secure a $70,000 AI engineering job offer, and then later a $120,000 AI engineer job offer, which is almost unheard of here in Sweden at my experience level. If you'd like to know more about how I secured a six-figure offer, despite being an engineer in Europe where salaries don't usually get that high, let me know in the comments below and I can make a video about it and share some of my tips for getting such a job offer. Okay, so let's go through the code real quick. So everything starts in main.py. There's a lot of files here. I'm not going to go through all of them. But basically, this is a Python command line application. So we start by running the file, which gets us here. And we're using argparse to basically add some additional arguments. So like I said before, you start with, what's this, 100K initial cash. You can overwrite this as an argument, so you can start with less and more if you want to. Then just more command line interface stuff, so selecting your analyst. And these are just enums here. Choosing our LLM model. And this is where the fun stuff begins. So we're gonna create a workflow. And here we're using line graph and adding nodes for each agent and edges, etc. I'm not going to go through everything in high detail now. I just want to show you how it all plays together. But if you'd like an in-depth tutorial on making something like this, then let me know. And if there's interest for that, I'll be more than happy to make one. So we add a start node, and then for each selected analyst, we're going to add the respective node for that. And here you can see we actually implement the agents themselves, which are defined functions here. And each agent is pretty much just getting financial metrics from a financial data API. And from that, it's going to look at different financial metrics. They have sort of their own criteria for valuing a stock and determining if it's a good buy right now or not. And this is just simple if statements here. So you're not mimicking Bill Ackman completely here, of course. It's kind of just like taking probably the stuff he's tweeted about, his investment strategies, and kind of condensing them into a very simple form. So yeah, it is quite simple, but that's also why I'm showing this to you, because it's a great way to just immediately get your feet wet into some AI engineering work. And it's a good skeleton to bounce off from and actually make something that can solve real problems. Once we've done the mathematics and we determine a couple of values, etc., we're actually going to pipe this into an LLM. And here is our chat prompt template. So as I say in my other AI engineering videos, prompting is probably the hardest and most important part of AI engineering, is generating a high quality prompt, testing it multiple times with different values, and making sure it returns somewhat consistent results. And they have pretty much one of these prompts unique to each agent. Here is the schema for the output. So the signal, which can be 1 of 3, the confidence level, and the reasoning, which is where the LLM starts doing the real heavy lifting here. What's cool is you can actually have a portfolio of different stocks already, and it's going to analyze this investment in regards to your entire portfolio, which is pretty cool. So one of these will take a look at your entire portfolio and try to mitigate risk. The other one will sort of make the final trading decision based off of what the other agents have said. And then there's a portfolio management, which we can take all the previous agents into consideration and try to come up with a final trading decision for you. And so here we have the final generate trading decision. And here you can see the rules. Basically, you're kind of telling the LLM to pretend that they have a team. And based on the team's analysis, so Warren Buffett or whatever agents you chose, make a trading decision taking into account also the holdings that you have. There's a lot of moving parts here. It can take account into your entire portfolio, what you already have, how much cash you have. You can dynamically select what your team will be. this is all very cool stuff, and I think you can learn a lot from this. So anyway, I'm leaving a link to the project in the description. I urge you to check it out and see if maybe you can make a spin out for another industry. And yeah, like I said, I firmly believe this can be the start of a great portfolio project for you that can really highlight your skills and help you stand out, as my AI engineering projects on my GitHub have done for me and helped me secure a very nice job offers. So again, if you want a more deep dive tutorial of how to create something like this or how to make this project, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to make that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.